live from Sacramento, California, in a warm car, in a normal. Look at this normal. Oh, there's. Thank you, Elizabeth.
You're welcome.
And there is.
Oh, never mind.
No. What are you talking about?
She's not even hiding it today.
Oh. There.
Happy Tuesday. I'm lying. Our car is being held hostage for thousands of dollars. So, lovely Elizabeth is driving us shopping to buy vegetables this morning.
Lucky Elizabeth.
She's tolerant. Thank you all for keeping us company through our depressing DuQuette dormant stage, hopefully temporary.
We're turning into butterflies.
I'm gonna go buy vegetables now.
Okay. All right. Aren't we lucky? Okay. I know we're a few minutes early instead of a few minutes late. And, but anyway, that's what we're going to have to do. So I am trying to set up our technology here in such a way as you can actually see things, what's going on. Excuse me. I'm going to turn that this way. Okay. I hope you got to see Constance and Elizabeth there. But we are in a nice normal person car here. How can I do this? I'm setting this up in such a way as to... Can I see myself? No. I apologize for the... Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work. Well, you're going to see a lot of the top of the car, that's for sure, if we do it this. How's that? Okay. Oh, things have been crazy lately. Happy Tuesday, everyone, and welcome to the parking lot of Sprouts. And you know I'm distracted because of the car situation, and we're imposing on friends to take us shopping. So now Elizabeth is the master of 418 Oasis here in Sacramento. She's the OTO Oasis master. So it's really a wonderful thing that she's doing for us here. Anyway, today I'm going to talk about Liber Yod. And it used to be called Vesta, or Crowley originally called it Vesta. And it's the weirdest thing. I've been talking about, over the last couple days anyway, Liber Tov. Okay, you know, that thing with the Hebrew alphabet and the Hebrew letters and the tarot cards, if you will, under that giant Tov. We talked about it. Was it just yesterday? And in sort of researching that and looking up the original places that that Liber Tov appeared, I saw it listed in Equinox, Volume 1, Number 7. And I went to Equinox Volume, a nice, beautiful 1972 edition of the Equinox, and I found Liber Tov. And it was Liber Tov subfigura, then Roman numerals 831. Well, Liber Tav is Liber 400. And so I went to the page where it said Liber Tav, Liber 831 was contained in. It said page 95. And it says Liber Tav, subfigura DCCCXXXI, okay? And this book was formerly called Vesta. It is referred to the path of Virgo and the letter Yod. Here, let me get these papers out of the way. Everywhere on the page it says Liber Tav, and on the top of each page it says Liber Tav. But actually, gang, it's Liber Yod. As if things weren't confusing enough in Thelemic literature. Anyway, so let's talk about Liber Yod, because it's so cool. Now, it's in 3 parts, and we'll probably spend at least 2 days on it, because part 1 I'm probably going to spend the most time on right now. Liber Tav. This book was formerly called Vesta. It's referred to the path of Virgo and the letter Yod. Now, the path of Virgo goes from Sephiroth, number 6, right diagonally up to number 4. That takes us to the threshold of crossing the abyss. Number 4 is the threshold to number 3. And the grade of Adeptus Minor, or the Adeptus Exemptus. It's the path that joins Adeptus Minor to Adeptus Exemptus. This is the book of drawing all to a point. Herein are described 3 methods whereby the consciousness of the many may be melted to that of the one. Now, that's a pretty heavy task, okay? Method whereby the consciousness of the many may be melted to that of the one. The first method, and I'm going to digress, I'm sorry, I'm going to digress all over the place. Let the magical circle be constructed, and within it an upright Tau drawn upon the ground. Okay. Now, many of you, most of you probably, are familiar with, if I can see it, I sort of blew it up, this Thelemic, if you will, magical circle. And I sort of cut off the top and bottom a little so I could get the cross to be as big as possible. You see the 3 lozenges, or those diamond-shaped things. There's one at the top and 2 at the side. And then there is this, what he calls an upright Tau. Now, a Tau is a T, and you'd think that an upright T is this, but he's calling this an upright Tau. Now, we're used to seeing this if you're into Thelema type stuff, and each one of these 10 squares, the top, second from the top, and third from the top are labeled 1, 2, and 3. And then the next one down is a 6-pointed star, and that's number 6. I hope I'm holding this so you can see it. Number 6. And the one under that is number 9. And then reading from left to right, we have 4, 8, and the 10 is at the very bottom, but that X is a 10. And then 7, and all the way there to the right is 5. Okay, those are the Sephiroth of the tree of life. And in certain ceremonies, the magician moves from one of those squares to the next. If you're operating rituals involving specific Sephiroth, you would set your altar on one of those and use that as the center of your circle. Okay, now we're used to seeing this, okay? And at first, here's another version of it. Let the magician be armed. Let this Tau be divided into 10 squares. And it said, see Liber 963, which is the Treasure House of Images by Captain Fuller. And the Treasure House of Images has this illustration in it. Okay. Let the magician be armed with the sword of the art. So, sometimes you use wands, cups, swords, and discs. And at first he says, you wear your black neophyte robe, and you're armed with the sword. But then he's got a footnote, and the footnote's part of the text. It's not an editorial footnote, it's a Crowley footnote. And it says, this ritual is preferably performed by the adept as a hermit, armed with a wand and lamp. Instead of, as in the text, which is armed with a sword. Okay. Let a single small flame of camphor burn at the top of the Tau, and let there be no other light or ornament. Okay, now, footnote, that camphor lamp, I've got it in pencil there, I'm sure you can hardly see it, right at the top, there'd be a little camphor lamp, and then there's sort of a sigil of an alpha and an omega, and a T, and a Greek rho superimposed on each other. So right at the very top, that at number 1, it says tarot. Okay, and the camphor lamp there would be in number 1, unless you, as the ritualist, are carrying the lamp with you. But that little lamp right there at the top is the only illumination in the temple. Let him open the temple as in Liber 671. Now, Liber 671 is the Liber Pyramidos, which is the AA ritual of self-initiation, neophyte ritual of self-initiation in the AA. It's not impossible to find versions of it on the internet now, but for many, many years it was sort of a closely guarded proprietary ritual. But it has an elaborate opening that can be used modularly in the same way as Kabbalistic crosses, or you would use a specific banishing ritual modularly to open up a number of ceremonies that you maybe write yourself, or or something. So different parts of ceremonies can be unplugged from one and plugged into another, is what I'm saying. So he said, open the temple with, as in 671. And that 671 has officers installed, either physically, like in Liber Troa, or in your imagination, as in Liber Pyramidos, right where those three lozenges are. Okay, and the three officers would be like Thoth at the top, and Asi, or Isis, on the bottom left, and who are Apept on the bottom right, and they'd be comparable to the Hierophant and the Hieros and the Hegemon in a Golden Dawn ceremony. And so there's another digression. Okay, just to get back into the flow of this. The first method: let a magical circle be constructed, and within it an upright tau drawn on the ground. Let this tau be divided into 10 squares. Let the magician be armed with the sword of art, or, playing the role of the hermit, the magician carries a wand and a lamp. Carries the lamp instead of having it together. Let him wear the black robe of a neophyte. Let a small flame of camphor burn at the top of the tau, and let there be no other light or ornament. Let him open the temple, as in 671, or any other convenient manner. Thank God he said that. So you could open the temple any way you damn feel is a proper way to open the temple. You don't have to do that elaborate dance outlined in the opening of Liber Pyramidos. Well, you can. It's a fine opening. But, or any other convenient manner. You open the temple. Okay. Standing at the appropriate quarters, at the edge of the circle, let him banish the 5 elements by appropriate rituals. Okay. That would mean using the greater banishing ritual of the pentagram. In other words, you systematically banish fire, water, air, earth, and spirit. Your little, you can find it Liber O, and every place else you can find how to banish all the 5 elements. So you do that. Then, standing at the edge of the circle, let him banish the 7 planets by appropriate rituals. Let him face the actual position of the planet in the heavens at the time of his working. Okay, nowadays it might be a little easier with these planetary apps on your phone. You sort of calibrate it and point it at the sky until you actually see Mars appear, or you can see where everything is. Well, when you do your greater hexagram ritual, banishing ritual of the hexagram, you would face toward where your phone tells you to face. Okay. Next, it says, let him further banish the signs of the zodiac by appropriate rituals, facing each sign in turn. Okay, I'm getting out of... Now, he's going to be describing this temple with that little addition there that you don't really see in any other illustration of this circle and tau. There is the 12 signs of the zodiac with the sun in the center in that cross. It's dangling beneath the number 10 on the Tau cross. Do you see it? I don't. I hope you do. Anyway, there it is. Okay. So now, when you banish the planets, okay, you only use the hexagram of Earth, but you trace the astrologic. The hexagram of Earth is that Star of David. The classic traditional one is that Star of David, and the planets are positioned. Saturn at the top, and then Jupiter, Mars, Venus, Mercury, and Luna at the bottom point. That's the hexagram you use. But there's a way, and each sign of the zodiac is ruled by a planet. Okay, so you, the hexagram of Earth alone is used. Trace the astrological symbol of the planet in the center of the hexagram as your balance, banishing with it. And the ruler for the zodiac, you use the planetary ruler for the zodiac sign and use that hexagram ritual. So the next step is, let him further banish the 12 signs of the zodiac by the appropriate rituals facing each sign in turn. Let him at each of these 24 banishings make 3 circuits, widdershins, with the sign of Horus and Harpocrates in the east as he passeth. Now, Golden Dawn initiates will find that this movement very familiar, because during a temple circumambulation, as you pass the east, you give the 2 signs, Horus active and Horus passive, as you pass the east. So at each of these 24 things, the five elemental banishings, the 7 planetary banishings, and the 12 zodiacal banishings, for each of those you give 3 circumambulations, making that gesture. Let him advance to the square of Malkuth in the Tau and perform the banishing ritual of Malkuth. But let him not leave not the square to circumambulate the circle. Okay, now after we've done the elements and the planets and the zodiac signs, now we're getting to the Sephiroth. And once you step your foot on the Sephiroth, you don't leave that square until you move on to the next. Let him advance to the square of Malkuth in the Tau and perform a ritual of banishing Malkuth. But let him not leave the square to circumambulate the circle, but use the formula of the god form Harpocrates. Let him advance in turn the squares of Yesod, Hod, Netzach, Tifereth, Geburah, Hesed, and banish each by the appropriate rituals. And what are those appropriate rituals? He tells us. And let him know that such rituals include the pronunciation of the appropriate names of God. There's God names for every Sephiroth. So you pronounce the appropriate names of God backwards. And also you compose, I said compose. Also a curse against that Sephiroth in respect to all that which it is, and for all that which distinguishes and separates it from Kether. So that'll take a little thought. A little, maybe 2-line poem, curse poem for each of the Sephiroth. You can come up with it. Advancing to the squares of Bina and Hokmah, and that's way up on the tree. Let's see if I've got a illustration for you here. It's way up on the tree. Well, I'll just describe it. It's the third square down. I'm balancing so many things on my lap at the moment. Okay. Right there at the top, three squares down from the top. Advancing to the square of Bina and Hokmah, in turn let him banish these also. And for that by now an awe and trembling shall have taken hold upon him. Let him banish these by a supreme ritual of inestimable puissance. Now, it doesn't sound like this is very long ritual, but remember, you've been pumping yourself up with 24 separate kinds of banishings. And each of those 24, you've been scooting around that whole temple 3 times for each of the 24. You're sort of going crazy by now with this ritual. You're sort of exhausted, if you will. Whatever it is, if you even make a half-hearted attempt at this, you have pumped yourself into an altered state of consciousness, whereby you're getting everything that you can think of that's a thing, everything that is anything but number one, anything other than the singularity of everything, you're getting rid of it. Okay. And let him beware exceedingly lest he will falter or his courage fail. Or in many cases, or the phone rings. Finally, let him, advancing to the square of Kether, banish that also, by what means he may, and at the end thereof, let him set his foot upon the light, extinguishing it. And as he falleth, let him fall within the circle. And if you're armed with a lamp, instead of having it at Kether, you extinguish it with your hand. Now that is a super banishing. And a more complete setting for this circle would be this one here with 3 lozenges, which are, you can look at it as 3 veils of the negative or whatever. He gives coloring instructions elsewhere. But it's the Tau cross, and dangling from Malkuth is this cross that we see in 963 Treasure House of Images usually has it as a cover thing. There's the signs of the zodiac. We've got the cardinal fixed, or a fire, air, earth, and water in the arms of the cross, with the sun in the middle. Okay. Now it's about as good as I can throw together with my limited technology and stuff. I don't even know if you're still with me anymore, but if you would turn the positioning of the Sephiroth on the tree, starting at the top again, 1, 2, 3, and then 6, 9, 10. That's the verticalness. Okay. Then at the bottom, we curiously have 4 and 5 on the left and right extremities, and 7 and 8 flanking number 10. If you would make a sigil, now this I really do want you to see before I call it a day. Okay. I don't know if you can see that at each point there, I've got the numbers 10 through 1, starting at the bottom. Now, if you could imagine drawing a sigil from number 10, going to 9, then over to the side, up, down. This is the sigil. If it's coming down from the top, it's the invoking sigil of the Sephiroth. If you start at 10 and at the bottom, that is the banishing of the Sephiroth, the direction of it. Okay, and it fits over the, let's see here. It fits over the thing like that. So the point I'm making is, once you have this entire ceremony in mind, once you've perhaps walked through it a dozen or more times, once you get the method to the madness of the systematic banishing of each of these things, once all of that, once you've in a sense mastered what it is you do with all of this, you could repeat the process simply by, in your mind, drawing that sigil. Or not. Anyway, I'm actually going to have to pick my phone up here in order to turn it off for today. I hope you've enjoyed it enough to find yourself a Liber Yod. Okay, a Liber Yod, and studying it. And at least going through it, walking through, to get at least what the method of the madness is. Because, it's not all that mad. And most of us get a glimpse of this ritual. Most of us who've ever gotten a glimpse of this ritual probably have seen it in Crowley's Rites of Eleusis, the final rite, the rite of Luna, when Pan himself, before he unveils the goddess Luna, Pan himself does this an elaborate banishing of the elements, planets, and zodiac signs, and Sephiroth. And usually the officer, perhaps the greatest Pan that I ever saw do a rite of Luna, Doug James, dear OTO friend. Doug James played Pan in, I know, countless rites of Luna. Karen played Luna. Jesus. Anyway, he did this banishing ceremony. He wrote a thing where he had all the Hebrew divine names written backwards, and he spat them out in his, he had horns on, and it was just gorgeous. Anyway, I have a reason to believe that Crowley left out specifics of what the magician does to execute all of these banishings, leaving it to the sense of art of the individual magician to come up with his or her own way to properly execute these things. So there are two more little like meditative chapters to Liber Yod, and that's what we'll do, hopefully, tomorrow. And until then, again, from the strange venue of the parking lot of a real modern car, be good to yourself, be good to each other. Count your blessings. If you've got a good car, be grateful for it. Until tomorrow, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.